Welcome everyone. We are live. We are live here at the round table, and I'm going to set up live on YouTube as well. It's telling me I don't have permission, but oh yes, we do have permission to go live wherever we wish to. So welcome to this live broadcast for the Witches Reclaiming the Round Table Global Online Summit. And I am here with my dear soul sister, Cheryl Prince. Hello, Cheryl.
Hello. It's so good to be in the metaphorical round table again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you say again, because that's going to be a lot of what you're going to be sharing today is this reuniting in this life at the round table at this time. And it just feels like I can feel myself shaking actually with this, like trembling with what I know is going to come through and the importance and significance of meeting now at this time. So thank you for being here. And I'll share some words about you. And yeah, as I'm sharing as well, write your name and your location in the chat, because we love to know who's here and where you're dialing in from, both in Zoom and on YouTube as well. So I am your host, Eimear Stassin, in case you didn't know, and I'll say some words about Cheryl Prince, who is an actress, a writer, a 5D theatre maker, spiritual activist, and intuitive healer. Cheryl is currently developing a trilogy of spiritual plays. Her first play, Awaken, delves into the witch persecution in the 17th century, highlighting the ripple effects this still has today. It calls into question the power that was stripped out of the hands of witches and asks us to reclaim our innate wisdom. Awaken won runners-up in the Script Accelerator programme at the Park Theatre in London and is now in its final stages of development with Beacon Arts. Well, that's happened, hasn't it? Where
that must be old, sorry.
Because I'm like, I was there at the Beacon Arts Centre where you did and filmed a script in hand reading. And I know you'll speak about it as well, that this is available right now for you to watch. And I urge you to watch it. It is so moving and powerful. And I've put a link on Cheryl's speaker page for you to access that. And Cheryl's passion is igniting the magical realism into the modern world and birthing a spiritual voice within theatre. As a healer, she works with people to help them align with their energetic body, realize their soul's story, and ignite their divine essence. Because I know you're going to be igniting so much today because your title, and I had to put it on like it was on a what do you call them, like a banner or a billboard, not in my name. I had to put it in capitals just with the energy that is coming through. So not in my name, Cheryl. Here we are.
Okay, let the sweating and the business begin. And I will say that I am a spiritual activist, so I'm not fluffy. So I'm going to be quite active. I'm going to bring quite a lot of soul truth for me and for everyone that's gathered live. And I'm going to be called if we need to do a healing. We will not leave this space with anything triggered and unhealed. You're a little fluffy. Yeah. That's true. Yin and yang, yin and yang. She's so right.
No offense to Fluffy, by the way.
Oh, no. I am basically.
Bring it all in.
I'm a fairy and a warrior witch all at once. So I'm not one without the other. I completely have that energy where I'm like floating around with the angels and everything. But then I kind of know why we were ordained to bring the round table in, why we spoke. I spoke to Eimear about it just before, that I literally had the flashback of being at the round table and going, we will not forget. I will not forget. I'll see you again. So we meet again. So yeah, not in my name. That's kind of where a lot of it starts. Because I want to bring in, this summit is called Witches Reclaiming the Round Table. So the word witches is big, it's very prevalent, it's here in the space. And the word witch means so many things to me and to everybody that reclaims it or speaks it or was a witch, was killed for a witch, is a witch today. It means so many different things. And it usually starts with so many of us going, oh, I'm a witch. They're ugly, haggard, all of those programs. And you might have been like me, where you suddenly got into the witch word and the wound of it, and suddenly went, no, you know, I'm going to reclaim witches because they're not evil old hags, and they're not this, and they're not that, and the other. And I was like on this mission to get the dictionary definition changed when I was writing my play, going, no way, not in my name. And then you kind of really sort of sit into the name witch a bit longer, and then you realize what was taken from witches, which was all their magical gifts, their working with spirit, their soul wisdom, all the things that a lot of shaman and earth-based people work with. So did the witches, and that all got taken out of our history because it, you know, got butchered out and forgotten. And that's exactly why I wrote Awaken, to give a voice to a witch that was killed. Me, my soul story, that worked with spirits, that worked with the land, that was a natural healer and a magical fairy, because that witch of mine that I remembered was just very naive and just wanted to heal and work with spirits, much like my own journey. And I didn't feel that there were stories out there that spoke about a witch from that perspective. And then I had another dark night of the soul over lockdown and everything else. And I went deeper, and my soul was like, don't forget number 2 of the trilogy, which is called The Witch, the Bitch, the Whore Was Your Angel. And I went straight into the dark shadow, into the spiritual activist. And I channeled all this stuff about mind control, about satanic abuse, things that happened in Egypt that I wasn't finding talked about that much. I did do a wonderful course when it brought up, and we said, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to heal with Cara Gilligan, who's amazing. All this stuff was kind of coming through, and I was like, where is all this from? And it set me on a trajectory of really looking at what the occult is, what witches are, and come to the reclamation of not in my name. You do not abuse our magic, our healing ability, our work with spirits to work with demons instead. You do not cast out the people, the goddesses, Sophia, Isis, Hathor, all of them, and use them for forces of dark that harm humanity. No, not in my name, not in the name of a witch. And so I want to speak about that because I feel like it's not out there enough. And I can only say that, you know, you have to bring that change that you want to see in the world. And I know that people feel it, and that they go, oh, I feel weird about being a witch. I don't know whether I like this side of it. I think I'm aware that something else is going on, and it's run through all of our lifelines. It's run through the Knights Templars when they got dark. I mean, I remember that lifetime hanging my head in shame as a knight going, what have we done? What's happened to our practices? I remember killing witches as a priest and being like, but they're not good. Why don't people get they're not good? And I remember living time and time as a witch and being killed. So what I can say is my soul remembered all of this. And then beautiful priestess witches out there like Lisa Renee and Laura Eisenhower, who you've had on here, and Zia Erstar, led me back to going, oh my God. So my soul remembered this true gnosis, this Gnostic wisdom before it was all taken in a dark cataclysmic time of our history. So no, I feel very strongly calling myself a witch and calling out, not in my name, because I do not want to be associated with anything that is anti-life forces. I am not that. And you will not take my practices and do what you do in my name. And I want to shine a light on it, because the other side of it is that we are the witches. And if we step into those gifts, those spiritual gifts those speaking to mediums, being a medium, and speaking to mediums, that's my great grandfather who's here. I will speak to you. We'll get to you. Thank you. Using our premonition, which is, that's what I was like, Ceci, you're gonna have to back off.
I'm just smiling because I love the way you work, Cheryl, and you're talking to me, and then your eyes go and your hands go and all this. You're holding all this in your aura, in your space, in your energy field, and it's so powerful.
Yeah, and I feel like we all do. We all have this kind of multi-dimensional thing, and the thing that came in really quickly when I was meditating, I did the Sword of Truth meditation, which is my gift, and it was what came back was that we know how to remote view. So remote viewing is seeing down different timelines and seeing what's going to happen, and an agenda has twisted those timelines and moved them not in the sake of humanity and mess with them, but mediums were always used to kind of change, to predict the future and look in. And I think that's why I'm saying we ordained this day to happen. We'll meet again, because we could see it on the timeline, right, we've got to get there at this time now. So this is a call to arms today, a call to arms to say, if you've got these gifts too, and I know you have, and you're scared of using them in any way, or you're scared of the reclamation, or even actually, I don't want to be associated with that, but please step into witchdom, or whatever you want to call yourself, because we need you. We need you. Just as much as I'm stepping up, we need everybody in all the different ways. And I'll go into that a bit further. But I feel like, because I'm a theatre maker and a writer and a druid poet before I'm anything else, I want to read the poem, because sometimes when I don't want to say things, because I'm like, oh, that's a bit heavy, that's a bit big, my human self is like, oh, I don't do it. What I do is I channel poetry very fast, like 5 minutes, and it always makes sense of what I mean, and it's like my soul speaks really fluidly. And I know other people have that gift, yourself. I know who Michelle, who's in the chat, has it. You just sort of channel the poetry, and it makes things make sense. And so I'm going to read this, because this is how I feel about the issue, and then we're going to go a bit deeper into other things. Yeah. And this was written, so I went to walk the lands of Scotland with Eimear very recently, and we went to the Witch's Well. And what I found when I went to Scotland, because it was a call to go, a call to arms, a call to walk, and I thought, oh, there's something not being spoken about on these lands. Like, strangely, we had the witches tour come by us, and this woman was dressed as a witch, and I was like, this is awful. And they were standing on the spot where the witches were killed on the main high street, and they were taught to spit in the middle of the thing as a sign of good luck. And I was just looking at it from a spiritual perspective, going, okay, you're spitting on where witches were killed, and you're wearing a fancy dress outfit, which is insulting to them. And there's no talk of the fact that this is where we'd all be standing up to jeer them. And, and these were the witches that I am, that were working with the soul force and helping to protect people against any darker forces. And it just felt so scrambled. But then when I went to the Witch's Well, and I've spoken about this briefly and got quite a bit of kickback about it, is I really appreciated that the Witch's Well had on both sides the harmers and the healers. Because I thought, thank Mary Magdalene, that actually you're gonna acknowledge that in the name of which there's been both. And I just felt that that was the only place that kind of recognized the full wealth of what we're wrestling with. So I sat on a train and wrote this. You stole our medicine, our food for the soul, our ways of being, so we no longer felt whole. Stole our knowledge, our wisdom, even our life spirit. And because we were speaking out, you took our freedom. Shackled us up in metal that silenced our tongue, compressed our jaws, and shunned us into submission. But what happened when the medicine was forgotten? The chemicals came in and tarnished our bodies. We died fast, forced off cliffs, drowned in waters, burnt our bodies, cracked our necks. We were hung out to dry. They, our people, we wanted to protect with arms of love and herbs of healing. They suffered in clinical rooms, having harsh procedures which stripped them from spirit. Our people were subject to crimes against humanity. Our healing herbs hid in lies that whipped us into submission. The people, our people, the masses, the 99% got scared, turned against one another, felt alone, and then we fought one another. Yet you didn't anticipate we'd remember. We'd join forces and begin to rewrite our story, dive into our Akashic records and find the burnt scriptures. We'd look inside our bodies and we'd set alight our portals. We'd wander the world and gather at the wisdom well, for we are the witches. We have returned from your inflicted hell. It no longer scares us because we can navigate the dark. We are the warriors, given swords on the day it was ordained, gathered once more in our circles, and we found our soul tribe. We fought our spiritual battles with love on our side. We are the witches. We know what you did in our name. You will not cast us out, and you can hang your head in shame. We've reclaimed our earth and we've called back our soul, repaired our wounds, and now it's you that loses control.
Oh my goodness. My eyes have welled up and I can just feel the emotion. What you share is her story speaking now for all of them, all of us, across all timelines. That is so, so powerful. And this is why this time has been preordained right here, right now.
Yeah.
For you to share this gnosis.
Yeah. And the biggest thing that I want to urge everybody to do, it's what I've kind of set up my life work to do, is to reclaim your soul's wisdom, whatever is in you. And I know it's scary. I know it's scary what you find there, especially if you're an old soul. You've got the witch history in you. I go, older into Egypt. Egypt's a scary time when magic went into black magic and the dark technology kind of forced in this beautiful spiritual souls that were there gathered on the earth. And that's why I teach the Black Rose, because it's like looking at when the whole shadow was cast. And what I really want to bring forward and assure and cuddle people with is that you spend a lot of time in the witch woundings going, oh my God, I remember I was killed as a witch, or little things make you scared because that's happened to you in your life before and maybe you haven't done a regression to see it yet. But that trauma lives on in you, and it is PTSD. I've lived with it. It's PTSD. It's horrible. It triggers. And I wrote a play and had to relive my killing. And I was like, what am I doing? This is painful. This is scary stuff. But something in me told me that, that I would make people feel less alone, having lived through that and gone through that and going, I'm still standing. And then you go through the phase where you go, oh my God, I killed witches. And I had such guilt a few years into my play. I was like, oh, this feels awful. I'm so sorry, witches. I would be apologizing to them every day, going, what can I do to help? And they were like, keep writing the play, keep writing the play. And then when I got to the second play, which is about the dark agenda and mind control, and it's a big topic that I go into much further in the Black Rose. But what I realized was that we've been programmed to carry this guilt. We've been programmed to remember all this trauma. And it's quite clever because it stops you reclaiming your witch wisdom, your soul's gnosis, because when you're a whole healed self, oh my gosh, do you remember what you could do? do you remember just being able to like tap? Could you remember reading people's thoughts, projecting things out of your mind, that reading objects and knew what they meant? Do you remember hearing things so clearly that your clairaudience was just tapped in? Do you remember just being able to one-to-one with spirit without anybody in the way? You know, you didn't even need the Bible or your priest. You just did it, all of it. And that is what, when you look into your soul and you keep connecting, and I said to Eimear today, I'm not connecting. Yes, I will get to you. I am connecting with other spirits today. But what I said I would do today was just bring my soul's truth through, just bring my soul's knowing and just connect with that. Because there's also this thing in the spiritual community about, you know, accessing your guides and, you know, putting other wisdom out there. And I've done that a lot, and that's amazing. But really, the best and most profound thing you can do is connect to your soul. Because don't think that gods and goddesses haven't been programmed too. I mean, look at what's happened to all of our great figures. They've been through the ringer, you know, so know who you're working with and where you're at, but proceed with caution, because there are some sort of more shadow forces that can come in, and certainly true in what is done in the name of witchcraft, especially, you know, it's just reversal coding everything. So instead of working with the light and higher consciousness, it's working with the darker consciousness. And then what happened is we all devolved. That's why we went into the dark ages, because instead of connecting with spirit or soul or higher wisdom, and I do believe we're still on that trajectory, which is, you know, why I write about transhumanism now. That's my second play, because it's the same, just going, no spirit, no soul, it doesn't exist. Oh, that's laughable. Spiritual was ridiculous. Took out of science, took out of, oh, that's a very clever program running all over again. So the most empowering thing you can do is soul regressions, get to know your soul, sit with your soul self, shine it brighter, brighter, brighter. And however it's been harmed, which was also part of the dark agenda, fragmented, get it back. Use a healer. I do all this work. If you want to speak to your own soul and you can hear it clearly, you'll know how to get your soul back. I mean, I remember going into a shamanic group to learn shamanism, and I walked in and we hadn't even started the teaching, and they said, can we honor the people that lost their lives on the London Bridge? Which we were like, okay, let's do that. So we sat in circle. I closed my eyes, and then suddenly I saw all the souls stuck on the London Bridge. And I was like, oh my God, well, okay. And I was like, speaking of God, guys, you're going to be okay. Okay, we're going to just pass you over to the light. Okay, no, you're traumatized, but you've passed over. And I was just going into all of this. And then we came out of the circle, and everyone was like, oh, that was amazing. I was sending love. And I was like, I was doing psychopomp work, and I hadn't been trained. So just want to, same as my past life regression, I sat in a Reiki healing, starting the training. I hadn't had any of the training, and I saw my life as a witch. So when you're an old soul, you have all of these things that are just going, bring me back, bring me back, bring me back. I'm here, just utilize me. And I'm not saying don't get training. You know, Eimear, you know how much I work at my spiritual stuff. Yeah. I'm the biggest geek, but also know that it's you working with your soul, because it's a very unique imprint. Spiritual gifts aren't one size fits all at all. They're so distinct. They have such a unique frequency. Whew, I'm going to take a breath.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes, I've had the most powerful experiences working with you leading, guiding me so beautifully on past life regressions, on soul retrieval sessions. And it's been so exquisite. And yeah, when you talk about the whole healed self, like it's really, really helped me. And also sometimes you need that, like you, as with what you bring forth, to remind me and others, all of us here, of what we are capable of, and to trust that. Because that even came through the regression that you were guiding me on. Trust it, you know, like that's what you were saying to me, you know, You know who that is, what this is, you know, what's happening. So you've really helped me to reclaim that within myself, which is an ongoing journey as well.
God, yes. And don't get me wrong, there's times when I've gone, I need help here. I don't even know. You know, I need some, you know, you need your ancestors or my nan who I work with. Yeah. I knew if I said the name, I'd activate it. You know, we need all of those. And I still work with my great-grandfather to go forward in my business, because for those that don't know, he was a very famous medium. So I was like, I looked up in awe of him, because I was like, oh my God, he really knows his stuff and I don't, and you go through all of that. But and he, you know, he's gonna guide me, because he's got some knowledge that he still wants to bring through. And what I will say about a lot of ancestors that I've worked with people and myself, is they tend to be spiritual activists themselves, because they didn't get to do something or got something stopped in their lifetime, and they're wanting you to do it today, to reclaim a right or wrong, or, you know, activate your gifts. They're 100% behind you, going, come on. And that's what my great-grandfather did with me with mediumship, which is why I will speak to spirits today in honor of you. But I also wanted to say, in the sessions that we work with, I am just working with your soul, because sometimes we can't hear our own soul so clearly, or we can't feel, you know, the real gnosis, because we've been programmed by so many different things, that actually all I'm doing when I work with someone is I'm just going, oh, what's their soul telling me? I'm not working with your guides. I'm just working with your higher self. And oh, okay, that's what, like, you know, when it was ages ago, when I said to you, oh yeah, you're going to be doing another couple of summits, because that's what your soul said to me. And then my soul didn't know that I'd sat at the table and ordained it. We will do this together. We'll bring this stuff back. Yeah. You know, you're always catching up with your higher wisdom.
Yeah. Would you like to share about that now?
Share about
the round table, and because you were guiding me on that past life regression last November 2021.
Yes. Do you want to go in?
Yeah.
Completely say no. But I feel like guiding you back into the table.
Yeah, let's do it. She says. What do you think, everyone? Should we go back in? Because we met at the round table. Yeah. And that's the inspiration for this summit.
In fact, let's all go in.
Well, yes from Michelle, yes from Chris.
Let's see if I can
come with you too.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Let's all go back to the round table. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Let's yeah. I'm gonna guide you a little bit and then see what wants to come up. So yeah, everybody, close your eyes. Yeah, let's all get our wisdom back. Wow. Okay. So I just want you to just clear the mind a little bit. Mind's a little bit busy from everything I've brought in. So take a couple of deep breaths. Oh yeah, there's a lot of energy. And just let that release into the ground. And taking another deep breath. And it might help to have your feet planted, just to really pick up your strength. Because we are going to knight you with your sword of truth right now. Yeah. You warrior witches. Yeah. So I want you to see yourself marching, because this is a date that was ordained. So march towards the light. Just see yourself marching in your mind's eye. And remember that your soul is either on your shoulder as a being of light with wings, or your soul is connected to your higher heart, so you might feel it connected in the front of you. Or some people, their soul is really in their womb. Just depends where your claircognizance is. And just let your soul's consciousness really come in to your body. And then with them, your higher self, start marching towards that timeline. And then see the portal of light open up and get your seat at that round table. And sit and remember who you are on a soul level. And I'm just going to go silent for a couple of minutes while I bring some stuff through. Okay, the first thing I'm getting is somebody's being bullied for who they are. So they're being a lot more silenced. And I want to tell them, because their soul's saying, do you not know who I am? And I want you to really remember who you are. Because this person, it's a karmic link to belittle you for who you are. Get spiritual on yourself, because there's no playing small in this field. So Eimear, the conversation that we had at the round table, I'm just going to bring that through, was very much about, will they forget? Will we forget? And we were questioning that we wouldn't remember this. And I just want to feel into the pain that's around it, the pain that actually, the stealing and the harvesting of what was pure. You know, that kind of, I'm not going to show it too much in case people don't see it, but what went on with the dark nights, I'm just going to say sodomy comes into it, and all harvesting a very dark energy. So knights and men lost their way. No, not in our name. The things that happen to witches' bodies is more prevalent. We know there was no need for a witch to be naked to find a witch's mark. It was all part of the torture program. No, not in our name. We saw it many times. We saw it ahead of ourselves, and we saw it behind ourselves, because this isn't the only life where we can do past life regressions. It's been happening a lot. It happened in ancient Egypt when you went into your tomb and you remembered what was going to happen and you called to the people. And so we're calling again, and there's someone else who has been speaking. I can feel into that. So she's been speaking her spiritual truth, and should be really proud of herself. I feel a lightness energy that you actually got a little pat on the shoulder from your soul going, well done, you said something and you haven't said it before. So your soul's really proud. So yes, it's going to wake up even more, even bigger. I'm going to say to somebody else, yes, he is a knight who you've just met. Again, go for it. Go for a cup of tea. It will get funky, I don't want to say, as in when karmic relationships come back, they do. But if you are clearing your timelines, it can be quite a magical relationship. So please don't pass that one by. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now we're getting the sword of truth laid on the table, and I'm going to go silent so that you can hear your sword and what they're saying, so that I don't take away your soul's power. And then I'm going to tell you what mine's saying, and we'll see how we meet. Okay, I'm going to bring mine through, and then I'm going to do a healing while you receive more downloads. I have been shown this again, and it feels like I need to bring this into this group. I always saw myself as a tiny little baby around a bonfire, a fire, and being sacrificed because of having these spiritual light in me. So it was a bigger sacrifice. It was dark. I don't understand how we can look at the Egyptian timeline and say human sacrifice was normal, and that's kept going in the occult today. You can find it out there. That isn't worship. That isn't worship. That's an awful thing to do. So I'm holding space for that child that I was and reclaiming that spirit, because what I heard in my ears is, I don't want to be spiritual, not if this is what you do. And that might resonate with other people, that I don't want to be spiritual because that energy gets harvested. No, I'm taking that child's wisdom back and letting her live the life that she never did today. That's my act of defiance. And once again, I say, not in my name. And then I was shown very clearly quite recently, and this is what I'm writing about in my second play, about being a victim of mind control and burning down temples and losing some of the priestess wisdom, which is why I feel so strongly about bringing back the Black Rose lineage, the true lineage. And I just want to say, I have no guilt around that. I know what it's like to be completely programmed and do something that you have no awareness of what you're doing. It's like you've fragmented your soul and you're an alter personality. So in case anyone needed to hear that or see that on their timeline, yeah, that's very dark part of the programming. And then I just want to bring in, because I know that there's a collective of real, I call them gypsy witches, which are very free, primitive witches that love to dance on the earth and touch trees and make medicine themselves and play with oils and healing and speak to the fairies. Bring those people back, bring those back, yes, in witches' names. And then there's also a collective that's part of me and part of me too, that remembers that they're royal blood. You're the royal bloodlines, not them. You are. And actually you had that gnosis. You've been trained as a priestess. You've been trained in your covens. You know this stuff. You're part of that. I remember being queen in Egypt when it was about divinity and spirit and sacred union and healing the lands, and just feel into that. So bring back your royal bloodline. Yes, you really are that powerful. Yes, you really have been initiated. Yes, you have got wings. And Eimear, I hope you can see yourself sitting on the throne, because the Kaliak is very proud and is anointing your third eye to see something more. So I'm just going to go silent a minute. And there's something that you feel like you want to bring justice to. Speak to Eimear particularly, but I can speak to anybody else when we come out of this as well. Eimear, do you know what it is?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm this golden being with huge wings. And when the sword was on the table, I lifted it up, and it was like I was pointing it to the future as lines of truth that we would follow, for all of us to remember the truth within us, and that this sword would no longer wield or harm or draw blood from anyone, that this sword would be the beacon of light for people now, to be the voice of truth, to speak our truth.
Yeah. So I want you to turn around in your mind's eye and face back the past and look down that portal, because your soul's like, I have to see this.
know, I feel like it's like this portal of light where all those who are wounded and hurt can move towards the light from that stuck place of darkness, of wounding.
Yeah, I went straight to the battlefield. So I want to return you around with your blazing bright lights, and just face into where everybody is wounded that's coming in, because the soul tribe are coming home, coming into the table, coming home. They've been on the battlefield, they've been tortured, they've been wounded. That's not the truth, not in our name. You can come back to the Knights Templars, you can come back to the witches. This isn't where the harm is anymore. You can come back into the souls of the people that are on this earth now, if you're a whole healed self. If not, there is a portal of light to step into, to be healed. This date was ordained. We have you, we're protecting you, we're sending you so much love. This is what a real witch is. And we're dissolving the occult, which is all about being hidden, and we're bringing it up to the light. Nothing's hidden anymore. And of course he is. So your dad's here, Eimear. And he was wounded on that battlefield. So I'm just gonna place a little energy into his heart and thank him for whispering in your ear, for letting the witches take a lot of the credit when it was always him guiding you forward. But he just knew that you'd be able to access it easier in the name of witch. He was always the wisdom keeper. He's brought so much through. And he's so glad you can carry on the sword for the family and lead them into a brighter day. It means so much to him. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
And just because we've all been there together, I feel like if anyone wants to ask a question or saw something or needed to speak in, then we will honour that now before we move on. And that's the same for you, Eimear.
Yeah, as you said that, and there's so much light. I could just see all the people wounded and lying on the battlefield, the light rising from their bodies as they came back here to the round table. And it was like light into the heart of art, which is the name of my dad. Oh, and that's just so emotional and healing and beautiful. Yeah, I feel there's so much moving through me now. And this knowing and realization that you're sharing, and him, and that it was him all along and not the feckin' witches. No offense, witches. You're part of the journey too.
I mean, he is part of the witches, but
yes.
And he's not even wanting to take credit for it. He's just saying, and I spoke to you before about, being more of a medium, and the medium is, speaking to mediumship in its purest sense is speaking to deceased loved ones, and it, that's why, Cecil, I hold my hat to you. It's not an easy feat, because somehow it's easier to speak to spirit for so many people, for myself included, because we go, oh, we get a nudge, or there's a little feather or something, and we can, oh, there's numbers, and we feel it makes sense. But when it's our ancestors, our loved ones that passed on, it's somehow so much harder. And I think it's because there's levels of grief around it, so that we go to somebody else to bring it through when they're always there, they're always with us. And I don't say this as someone that's I want to say a raving medium. I say this as someone that lost my nan about 10 years ago, and spent 5 years knowing I could feel energies, knowing that I knew when spirit stepped into the room, knowing all this as a child, knowing that I was the tapped in one, and I couldn't feel her anywhere. And my spirit was broken. I remember raging, and I was like, God or anyone doesn't exist. I was sold a lie. Death is the end. This is bullshit, because I feel nothing. I don't even feel you anywhere. And then 5 years later, you know, it was years of, you know, going down the, I lost myself, I lost my soul, whatever, tried to be a normal person, all of that, party girl spirit, had a dark night of the soul, retrained as an actress, wanted to be a normal actress, was doing my name, magically doing light language. I had no idea I was doing that in the rehearsal room. And then my nan came back. And we're the same. We've both had our resurrection stories. You know, we've had our ancestors come back physically and seen them there. And if you haven't, you know, don't think that you're still not, you don't know about resurrection, or that you don't know that they're still there. Trust that the presence, I mean, they're talking to me. Nan always knows. Talking of Nan, oh, did you want to say something? Oh, bless her. So because of my nan in life, we just had broken biscuits and a cup of tea. There's a Cockney, my play's filled with Cockney because my heritage is partially Cockney, and I wrote it for you and Grandad. You know that I did, to keep your Cockney spirit alive. And she's just saying to me, like, I don't get all your spiritual malarkey and all of this stuff. My nan's an angelic being, so she does get it. But she's like, you're keeping it real, and I'm really proud of you for that. Oh, I'm so gonna have a broken biscuit and a cup of tea with you afterwards. Yeah. And that, sorry, I give that example because that's how simple it is. They're right here. And I don't physically see my nan. I see her as I see your soul, Eimear. I see it like you know, it would just be something in a space there. I know some people are clairvoyant, but that's not how I see things. I just feel into the frequency of it. So that's why I'm assuring you that, you know, you can do this. You know, that's what your dad was doing all along, but you just name it under, you know, different things, and, you know, whatever's easiest to access, or it's the energy, or it's the trees, or it's, you know, or it's my imagination. Or, yeah.
So powerful. Shall we, because this is the round table.
Yes.
And
Sorry, let's go to the round table.
So many comments coming in and sharings, and people resonating and feeling the emotions and the tears and the release. Yeah, and so powerful. And any questions and sharings that you want to place in here at our round table are so welcome. Crown chakra tingling, resonated with so much. And Destine Reed is saying, I know I want to speak with Cheryl. Yeah. Valerie's saying, I saw some sapphire silk material and I was using my hands to weave some layer around me. Energetic protective light. We've been trained and we're now figuring out or remembering. Yeah. And Michelle's saying, Nan knows best. No nonsense, Nan.
Oh, yeah.
So much appreciation being shared here.
Yeah.
Jamie's saying, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you can catch the replay.
Yeah, and I want to bring in the card that because I asked Spirit, because I was like, whatever needs to come through will come through. So fine, I'm just going to work with my soul today. But I was like, well, what does everybody need? Like, how can I serve? Like, you know, I come in as the spirit activist saying, you know, there's a dark side of witch history, and they just gave me Nefertiti's soul healing. And soul healing is the most important thing that we can do as our activism. That is like repair, renew, tap into the soul, because that is where the wisdom is. Can you explain? Shall I read that question? Yes. So I've heard many things about the round table, but I'm not going to go there. Hold on. So for me, the round table is a portal in space and time. So it was like an ordained meeting, because when you can travel down portals, and when I work down soul regressions or changing timelines, all you're doing is going straight down a portal to realize that time doesn't really exist and that we can access anything. So that round table for me is just the bottom of a portal where we all decided to gather our souls in a time and say, let's break free of this illusionment of time, space, reality and come back. So at some space and time, we're still at that portal sitting there. And that's a really, thank you for the reminder, really important thing to bring in, because the dark agenda knows how to break through portals too. They know how to make cataclysmic events happen, which is what happened in Egypt, the fall of Atlantis, the fall of Lemuria, the fall of what they've tried to do again, break through paradigms, time travel, and bringing forces to attack. So what a powerful thing to break through the portals yourself, see into the future, come back with the wisdom. I cannot tell you how powerful it is that we're doing this. I feel like we're all holding each other, absolutely. We are, the round table doesn't have leaders. You know, the round table, you know, it's a round table. We're all sharing space. We're all in this space. It's only because my soul's such a grumpy activist, it was like, you will do this today, bring home your truth, because my spiritual soul lesson is to speak my spiritual truth. That is my soul's journey, which is why always in circles, in spiritual circles, I always say the unsaid thing. I've been doing it my whole training. I'm like, hang on. And they say in circles, somebody always has a space. And Eimear's, yours is probably gathering people together because you put on summits. So that's always your space in the circle. And everyone here will know what their thing is. And without anybody, the circle fails. The round table falls apart. That's why covens were stopped, because it's about circles and everybody coming into that. It's not about leaders. And that's quite a funny thing for us to get our mind around, because we're taught to be leaders. And it's not like you shouldn't be your own leader. You should definitely be a leader in your life. But then be careful, because it's a patriarchal programming that you shouldn't be a receiver as well and sit in this space. And I'm only bringing through what lots of people's souls are saying. So you are the wisdom that I needed, which is why they were like, no, you can't prep, because until you know who's in the space, you don't know what's coming through, because your souls are bloody brilliant.
Yes. Yes, and this is the power of gathering in this way across timelines, across the globe, in circles, so that energy can rise. And everyone's feeling it, you know, either chills or heat or chakras being activated. Oh, everyone's feeling this here. It's amazing, amazing, powerful energy that with your support are calling back in and trusting ourselves once again for the wisdom that is so needed now.
Oh,
the
God.
Pure divine wisdom,
yes,
of those times.
And as you're saying that, I did say to Cecil I'd come back to him. He was like, hello.
Cecil time.
And he came in. Yeah, because I feel, and I've been having this inkling for a little while, that he was trying to do something. Because he brought through a lot of spirits. I feel like he has some gnosis that I'm needing to find out in London. So I am going to follow his path, because, oh, wow. I haven't been listening as well as I should have. He's telling me he's found my witch in London. he can take me to the space. So for those that don't know, oh, wow, I should have been listening, Cecil. He's like, you don't need to create space to listen to me, but I've been on a journey. So the witch that I wrote about was from London, and I was sure that there was loads of healers in London, as there is everywhere in the country. And the more I find out about it, the more I welcome, because the healer witches, the medium witches, all of those I'm very interested in shining a light on. And there was a London witch that I'd never been able to find. There was a healer that probably, that didn't have her name and was trying to bring out, Margaret Jordan, okay, I did find her the other day. Thank you. Okay, so there's more in that I'll go and investigate afterwards. But he's saying that he was trying to uncover something as a medium that was bringing lots of truth through, because, you know, police forces do use mediums. They use them to get who killed somebody. You know, they're using all this knowledge. They always have. They use the occult in the secret services. I mean, just look into the history of Aleister Crowley and all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, look into everything, question everything. King James is a 33rd degree Mason. What happens when you get up that high at Masons? Why do you want to kill witches so bad? Which witches are you killing? Who are you killing? Oh, which brings me round to Agnes Sampson, who I did say I channeled today. Thank you. I wondered why we were going down that line. Yes, Cecil, we will speak again. Agnes Sampson. Oh, another healer witch, a healer witch. So she feels very strongly, as I do, not in my name, the whole debacle, the witch craze over here, Scotland, all started off from what she was trying to stop. So really, there are in our witch history the activists that were trying to put a stop to the mess that was happening in the royal bloodlines, in the royalty. We always knew, we're not just waking up to it now, we always knew that there was dark occult going on, and we were always trying to stop it. And so Agnes, not in her name, and she needs retribution and justice, for not only was she misaccused, not only was she silenced for what she was trying to bring through, but she was not and isn't acknowledged as a cunning woman, which is probably the biggest injustice that they've done, that she was working as a cunning woman. So there's no point getting apologies or memorials up or anything for her unless you're going to acknowledge who she was and the truth that she was trying to bring out. And I will do my best to get that memorial and to bring that truth out, Agnes. Okay.
Wow. Wow. And Agnes was one of the North Berwick witch covens that was torn apart and misaccused and blamed for trying to kill the king. Maybe they were trying to kill the king.
I feel like you need to bring a bit more forward about that.
Well, I just wonder, like, you know, this summit started, it felt important for this to start on the 5th of November, remember, which you shared in your email, the 5th of November, and Guy Fawkes and this failed assassination attempt to kill the king and the leaders of the time, so one of them being King James in 1605. And then there's Agnes Sampson and the North Berwick witches, which are infamous. You can actually, when you look online, there is a lot of information about them, whether it's all true or not. You're bringing through the truth. And they were accused of creating a storm as King James returned from Denmark with his wife Anne, and stirring up the storm to kill him. And him and his comrades almost lost their life, but they didn't succeed. So that was in like 1500 when was it, 1597 or something? So that was before the Guy Fawkes. So yeah, why were these attempts being made at killing the king? Did they foresee what was going to happen with their cunning abilities and psychic abilities? What was going to happen in the name of witch or not in the name of witch to try to take him out?
What I'm getting immediately is they had absolutely nothing to do with it. And maybe, like, I would recommend watching Laura's, if you don't know anything about geoengineering or the fact that science and you know, can affect the weather. That's not a new technology. So yes, the king was you know, had a death threat on his head, but who do you think it was by? And it wasn't easy to blame somebody else. And I really feel in that room when they were together, he knew, she knew, they knew they were nothing, because Agnes Sampson and King James both had that thing. But yeah, I don't like to say King James is innocent. I don't feel he was, but I believe he was stuck in a place where he was stuck. And it gets to the point where you've sold your soul so far down the river, where do you go? You know, because if you're brought into a royal family that wasn't back when it was pure divinity, what are you brought into? You know, the darker paradise. Who's got the puppet strings, really? Because it's not the royals. So, you know, it's, I mean, yeah, I could say more about the Queen and what's happening today, and I'm not an advocate of the royals. I mean, ISIS knows, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I was Guy Fawkes one day, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, we haven't had pure bloodlines, and I wonder what, on a soul level, what they're brought into and what they've had to face, and what indoctrination and what programming, because I will come back to, there is a program that's anti-life, anti-human, anti-soul, trying to destroy all of that. So how destructive has it got to which people? Because when you work with souls and soul wisdom as a healer, you can see when someone doesn't have soul light, and you're just looking at them going, oh my God, you have no soul. You've sold your soul. You see it in sort of celebrities, you see it in higher up people, and you just look at them going, oh my God, I don't know the full wealth of the amount of trauma you've gone through. And don't get me wrong, I've gone through being very angry at these people that are behind an anti-life agenda. I'm not like, oh, I'm wishing you all love and light. I'm not. But I'm just saying, I understand that actually, if you're coming from a place of soul loss, this is why the destructive things happen. And our history is so old and so covered up and keeps getting burnt out, and the tablets destroyed, and then the wisdom keepers burnt. And then, you know, if you go back and you keep going back, you find the anti-life agenda that was there, that's done all this mess. So I just think there's another missing nugget to the King James and the Agnes thing that they're kind of bringing in and showing me that actually, yeah, we've been in part of a dark agenda. And I personally am saying, you know, no more. I will look with bright eyes. I will rewrite my stories and bring them back. I do it in theatre, I do it in poetry, I do it with one-to-one soul regressions with people. This is my life purpose, because without souls, we're nothing. And that's what the Cariad witch said to me a while ago. If you're not a witch, you might as well be dead. And I didn't understand it till now. She's saying, if you're not a witch, if you're not a soul, you might as well be dead. Because to me, witches are the soul retrievers, the soul activators, the soul workers.
Amazing, amazing. I'm wondering then, because you mentioned Gnostic wisdom at the very, very beginning, and I thought, oh, I really want to come back to that part with all that we've shared in this portal that has been open. And someone commented saying your poem opened this portal. And I do feel that. I feel that. Yeah, it's like it's been a magic spell to open what's come through today. Yeah, Gnostic wisdom.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought me back to this. This is why you're so good at what you do. We won't go past that. So Gnosticism, oh my gosh. When I found out about Gnostics, I had this moment, and that's why I'm like, let people know about it if they don't. And I went, I know who I am. Oh my God, I'm a Gnostic. Because to me, I didn't ever fit into any religion before. And I'm clearly not an atheist. Got to struggle with that word. And so I had no sort of space for who I am. I was like, I'm a mystical soul, I'm spiritual, but spiritual just feels a bit out there. And then I found out about Sophia and the teachings, and that the teachings, to put a very small fractal on the amount of teachings that I've learned since about Sophia, was that she was the one that was the spirit. They say she fell to earth and then give birth to the demons. So actually they're blaming her for the start of the dark agenda. I don't believe that's what happened. I believe that she was the one that sussed the dark agenda, came to earth, still worked with spirit. But Yeshua, Jesus, talks about her in the Pistis Sophia when he works with her. But very importantly about Gnosticism, they teach the wisdom is within, not outside. So basically they were the original sort of soul workers, because they're saying, don't look out, it's within you, you are soul. This is the Sophia teachings. And then they were taken out of the Bible and buried and hidden, so that they were all sort of stolen. This feminine force of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, you know, spirit wasn't there. Where's the woman? And there's this Sophia consciousness. So Sophia consciousness and Gnosticism is everything that I am and what I came, and just resonated as such truth. And so even though I write about plays about witches and transhumanism, and eventually I'll write about alien consciousness in the third play, and the coming together and the marriage of the divine feminine and the masculine and Hieros Gamos, which is all part of the Sophia path, I am writing as a Gnostic and bringing the Gnostic text back, because in my second play, the character in Egypt is called Sophia. So she is working with Sophia, because for me, Sophia was who we worshipped before the program fell. She taught Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. And the last piece of nugget about the initiation that really was like, yes, why don't they teach this enough, is that Jesus's channelings about Sophia came through when he was already in spirit. So it was for the disciples that met on that mountain and listened and worked as a medium, as a spiritual person, as a soul, that realized that actually they were working in the same way that I'm recommending we do, and we reclaim the wisdom. So that is the true sort of reincarnation tale, that you get to a level where you go, oh, it doesn't matter what dimension you're in, I can work with you now, because obviously the learnings that Sophia went through, who was the original reincarnation, because she went through the paradigm and came back and spoke to people, is about speaking on a spiritual level, that we're more than this body, that we're souls, we're this consciousness. But what I love about Gnosticism is also there planting in about the dark agenda and what was done, which has always felt a little bit off. When I look at other mythical tales, I'm like, oh, what? This horrible old witch threw stones at people, and that's her, and then this person, and you just realize it's been done by the patriarchal programming the whole way along. And Sophia breaks that, because you realize, oh, history is her story too. Okay. So Gnosticism made me make sense of the world again. Yeah, I'm sure I know I played a part in the destruction of that knowledge and the retrieval of that knowledge. Yeah.
Oh. Even the more reason, thank you for bringing that forward, because then even more, the more reason to be our whole healed selves, as you also said in the beginning too, so that we can discern and know, because we can feel it within ourselves, which is the right path.
Yes, and I bring that in because for the Black Rose, thank you for that reminder. It's about, you know, we go through the weeks, so that's coming up in 2 weeks' time. So if this sort of wisdom and this level of soul retrieval, and yes, it's a teaching, but it's also a soul activation. So it's half and half. I'll bring forward what I know, but I'm not interested in preaching knowledge. I'm interested in activating what your own soul is saying about all these paradigms and what's come forward. That Sophia sits with Baphomet. So whether there's a pure consciousness and what I see as a reprogrammed consciousness fell into dark hands, and then, you know, we go into all different sides of the wheel. You know, Hathor, which is I work with a lot in my business, in my 5D theatre, but Sekhmet, you know, mind control itself took place. You know, it's not a normal paradigm to destroy communities and start drinking up blood, and that's in the mythical history of Sekhmet. We need to question these that are all laying out for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. So I kind of go through both the light side, reclaiming the worship of that, and also the dark side of the damage that has been done. A really truthful look, because that's kind of what the Black Rose is. It's about activation and breaking apart the old myths that do not serve us, and learning from the people that have been programmed, as we all have. And we should, you know, as much as we go for this journey and realize all the things that we've done and the things that we regret and the things that we have shame and guilt about, remember, you were a human being who got programmed and did it through lack of connection with your soul. So you don't need to carry that. You didn't create that program. We're blasting that program apart.
Yeah. Amazing. And I will be on your Black Rose course, and I urge people to check it out. It's divine, and it's on your speaker page as well, a link, as well as a link to Awaken, your first play, which is there and available now. It won't always be available, will it?
Oh, because no, it's only going to be available into the new year, because it's going to go on tour and have a full production on the lands where the witches were killed. So yeah, it's going to be the start of a big sort of fundraising campaign, and to get theatre awake and start putting spiritual soul stories on stage, because that's what 5D theatre is. It's about, and my biggest hope is that we can get in spaces and actually have our own soul retrievals and awakenings, because my theatre isn't to preach at you, it's to awaken and go through that process of, oh my God, you know, I've even had people say, oh my God, I was killed as a witch in a past life, and I just realized through watching Awaken, or oh, that was me, or the lovely thing is, oh, I feel heard and represented, because we're often, you know, we don't really appear in the mass media, unfortunately. You know, there's not a lot of TV and films that aren't about perpetuating the dark program. Shamanic storytelling is what I'm about, and I want to bring that through, and I'm sure that there are spaces and places that can support that, because that's who it was written for. So it was back online for Samhain to honour anyone that wanted to have a bit of a witch awakening. There is meditations on my YouTube if you need a bit of healing alongside, in case you have a witch awakening. They're called the Awaken Meditations, I think. And there also is the free meditation, which I spoke about, which is Sword of Truth, which is a bit of an activation into the stuff that I was talking about. Yes, it's all about someone talked about sword and marching with a sword. It's about seeing your warrior, witch, or knight marching with that sword, claiming back your truth. So I love that meditation. I've been really enjoying collecting my own bits of what started as seeing the Knights Templars and going, oh my God, Knights Templars went dark, and seeing myself as one of them, to coming back in and coming back at the round table just before we spoke, and them saying, soul reclamation is everything. It's everything. It's your way out of this mess. Everybody, it's everything. Whether it's writing your soul stories like I do, whether it's healing and helping other people heal their souls, whether it's coaching, whether it's just being really in contact with your soul whenever you can. Maybe going, do you know what, step aside, spirit. Today's just me and my soul, you know? So yeah, soul wisdom is everything.
Amazing. And the link wasn't working. It's ironic, isn't it? The link I put in on your speaker page, your link is working, wasn't working. So ironic with all we're talking about. So I've corrected that while you were speaking.
All right.
The link is now working to the Sword of Truth meditation. I've put a link in the chat here on Zoom as well, if people want to go straight there. It is gorgeous. I've been doing that meditation as well. And I love your creative meditations. They're so, so powerful.
Yeah, I really enjoy them. I think it's a chance to have a little theatre experience at home with the healing, whereas a play would take, you know, £60,000 or whatever to fundraise and to get on stage, and it's like you can have a little snap it then and there. So yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Ooh, is there anything else you'd like to share? Not in my name.
Well, oh gosh. So as soon as you said that, yeah, okay. Interestingly, my mind went straight to, so another way of mediumship, if you ever need a little bit of help, is that ask them to guide you, and you'll look straight on the thing that you need to know or need to feel deeper into. And what happened there is you said, is there anything else you want to say not in my name? And I went straight to the poem piece that said, they cracked our nets. Now, I started this whole journey through seeing a past life regression when I was hung as a witch on a tree. I didn't understand anything about witches, didn't know why I was hung, didn't know, I wasn't particularly interested in them or anything. And it all started with just seeing myself hung on a tree and being like, ugh. And everyone else in that same experience was seeing colours and light and beauty. And I felt a little bit hard done by that I was having this horrible experience. And I went on such a big journey to find out who I was from seeing that vision. So I think all I want to say is it starts small. It might start in the vision that you've had today. It might start through, you know, watching Awaken and having these kind of things awaken in you. But what I will say is I am so grateful that I did see my past life as a witch, because in my name, things are healed. In my name, history is written to her story. In my name, I have honoured a medium that is in my family that was called fraudulent by Wikipedia. No, not in his name. So in our name, I really step forward as a person that's wrestled with the name witch, can see quite clearly what's been done in the name and still done in the name witch. But I'm just representing this is an actual witch. And I swear to the goddess, if you keep doing dark stuff in our name, we'll have you. Like, we'll have you. You know, this is a spiritual war and we're reclaiming it. So, no, not in our name.
And Pauline has just written in the chat, isn't there an anti-war song called Not in My Name? So
I don't know it. Oh my God, I
like
would love to.
Perfect timing, Pauline.
Oh, is there? Oh my God, I need to listen to that. Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Oh my God.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm going to go and search for everything not in my name and get myself right rallied up.
Yeah, I could see the badges and we're all there going, not in my name. It's so powerful. Oh, Pauline can sing it. Wow.
Can we bring her on to sing it to close this out?
Would you like to sing it, Pauline? Like right now?
Yeah, come on, this would be an amazing way.
Pauline is a musician, so yes, we'll bring you over.
Oh,
Okay, sing, Pauline.
amazing.
Bring you over.
Oh, thank you so much for jumping in, Pauline. That's amazing.
You're able to join us now.
Okay.
Here she comes. Hi, Pauline. It's lovely to see you.
Oh my God, this is so amazing.
Thank you so much, Cheryl and Eimear. It's really beautiful. I'm loving this. And I'll sing you the anti-war song, Not in My Name. And I hope I can remember all the words. Here we go. We can see the forces gathering like so many times before. Working for peace, they say, preparing for war. They are claiming to be standing for democracy, but their voices would be silenced if democracy could speak. You're not doing it in my name. You're not doing it in my name. You're not doing it in my name. Doing it in my name. You're not doing it in my name. You're not doing it in my name. You're not doing it in my name. Doing it in my name. Yeah, there's more verses, but I'll leave it there because yeah.
That was so powerful. Chills all the way throughout.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Pauline. I love that you're able to just hop in here and share that.
Oh, I'll sing for anyone.
So powerful to hear those words. Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all. And is there anything else you'd like to share, Cheryl, as we're here? With all that has been shared, it's been so, so powerful.
Oh, I just heard my soul say, thank you for getting me. Thank you for getting me. And that's such a beautiful, yeah, thank you for getting me. So I just hope that everyone like finds that, you know, that real connection with their soul to say, you know, it's kind of the biggest sort of sister brotherhood you could have, to just be like, oh, fully soul connected. So yeah, I want to say that, yeah, just connect with your soul in any way you can. Yeah. And thank you for meeting me at the round table, for bringing this through. I couldn't do it without you. Absolutely. I salute your work, Eimear. You know I do. Soul Sister, I'm so pleased you brought this event together and these things are being activated. I'm so proud of everyone in this tribe, because we chose to listen. So yeah, I feel just to say that I came upon your summits from Healing the Witch Wound, and I felt very alone with it back then, writing my story, didn't think people got it, found your summit and didn't feel so alone. And I just think it's really powerful that you're still providing this for as we're getting more active and not in our name. Yeah, wow, I hope the gift that people get from this week is that you're not alone, and you're doing, yeah, really amazing stuff in your name, because we are the witches.
Yeah, and Chris has put on there, not an R name.
Oh yes, not in our name. My gosh, oh my God, Pauline, you're gonna have to sing that version and send it over.
Yeah.
Not in our name.
Back on.
Yeah. Can you end with something? Oh, I know we've got a whole song for all of us.
Yeah, bring your songs, come on in. And that's the round table too. It's like whatever is alive and wants to happen in the moment is really beautiful that it can, and that we can replicate this online as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's so right. Not in our name. Oh, we have to end it there.
Thank you so, so much. And thank you to everyone for being so chatty in the chat and for being here. And so many thank yous, to you, Cheryl, for showing up as you are and your immense gifts and knowledge and gnosis. It's really, really sacred and special. So thank you. And Destina's just booked a session with you, Cheryl. She's beautiful. I love that. So check out Cheryl's work, watch Awaken, do the Sword of Truth meditation.
Yes, sorry, reminds me. Sorry, thank you for that reminder about sessions. I'm not offering discounted because I always offer pay what you can rates on whatever I do. It's just my way of answering to the elite that steal all the spiritual knowledge. So just to say, I don't offer those out because I always try and offer wherever you're at, pay what you can.
Amazing.
I like bringing that in.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
So much love. We will see you all again soon. Take all the time for all of this to integrate. I know I will tonight, absolutely. So thank you all. Thank you, Cheryl. So much love. See you all soon.